A 4,500-year-old woman's skull with traces of 2 surgeries. In the southern part of Spain, archaeologists found the skull of a 4,500-year-old woman on which they discovered traces of 2 medical interventions. Importantly, the ancient woman appears to have survived both surgeries, as evidenced by the healed skull bone. You can imagine that skull surgery without modern methods of anesthesia and antibiotics may sound like a death sentence. Despite this, skull trepanation was performed thousands of years ago, from ancient Greece to pre-Columbian Peru. Early last year, research was published on a 5,300-year-old skull found at the archaeological site of El Pendon in Spain, which scientists believe represents the earliest known example of ear surgery. In turn, in a 2018 study that analyzed skulls with traces of interference from the Inca Empire, scientists even put forward the thesis that Inca surgeons performed more successful skull surgeries than American doctors during the Civil War. In new research, the results and description of which were published in the International Journal of Paleopathology, scientists presented further evidence of performing complex head surgeries. At a site in Caravaca de la Cruz in southeastern Spain, archaeologists discovered a burial site from approximately 4,500 years ago, where they unearthed the remains of 1,348 people. Scholars indicate that this mass grave was used approximately from 2566 to 2239 BC. While analyzing the bones, scientists came across an intriguing skeleton. It belonged to a woman who was between 35 and 45 years old at the time of her death. But the most interesting thing was her skull, on which scientists noticed traces of 2 trepanations. Among the remains of 1,348 people found in a common grave near Caravaca de la Cruz, only one showed traces of trepanation of the skull. A surgical procedure that involves drilling or scraping holes in the skull to expose the dura mater, the outermost layer of tissue surrounding the brain. Analyses of the woman's skull revealed 2 overlapping holes near her temporal bone and auditory opening. One of the holes is 53 by 31 millimeters, the other is smaller and measures 32 by 12 millimeters. Scientists believe the holes were not caused by trauma. There are no fractures radiating from the holes, and each of them has clearly defined edges. Based on these findings, the study's author, Sonia Diaz-Navarro from the University of Valladolid in Spain, concluded that the holes covered in the skull were the remains of 2 different medical interventions. Why was the surgery performed? What was wrong with the woman? Scientists are not sure about this. Her skeleton shows signs of broken ribs. In addition, the woman had tooth decay. Moreover, nothing was found to suggest the reason for the risky operation. Analyzing the holes, especially the diagonal orientation of their walls, scientists suggested that the trepanations were carried out using a scraping technique. This method involves rubbing the roof of the skull with a stone tool with a rough surface and gradually eroding the area along all its edges, resulting in a hole, Diaz-Navarro said. to perform such an operation. The affected person probably had to be heavily restrained by other members of the community or previously exposed to a psychoactive substance that relieved pain or rendered him unconscious, she added. The woman appears to have survived both surgeries, as evidenced by the healed skull bone. Scientists believe she lived for at least several months after the second surgery. They also believe that prehistoric physicians used various plants with bactericidal properties to reduce all kinds of infections.